This story comes to us from CBSNews.com. This is not an American story. This is an Australian story. But I thought of Ive Peters when I was reading this, and I thought, I'm going to give it. See what Ive Peters may or may not know about this, because, I'm sure that the news over there covered it extensively. It's a big thing, though. I mean, there's several links to this story. 6 people, including 2 young police officers, were shot and killed at a property in rural Australia. It's going to be in Queensland state. After officers who arrived to investigate reports of a missing person were ambushed, according to authorities. The violence began at about 4:45 p.m. when 4 officers arrived at a remote property in the Queensland state. At least 2 heavily armed shooters opened fire on the officers at the rural property in Wiambilla. I said it wrong. I'm sorry, Ive, and all you Australians. I'm sorry, mate. I said it wrong. I'll try it in Australian. Rural property in Wiambilla. I don't know. They'll tell us how it's said. But anyway, they opened fire on these officers. Police returned the fire, but 2 officers were actually critically injured, and unfortunately, they died at the scene. A neighbor was also killed during the firefight. Now, in that initial confrontation, a 3rd officer was grazed by a bullet, while a 4th escaped, according to Queensland Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll. She said it was a miracle that 2 officers had survived and that one was able to raise the alarm. Katarina Carroll, the police commissioner, said, "In my view, the officers didn't stand a chance, and I don't know how 2 got out alive." She said the officers were shot in an exposed area in front of the house. Police identified the officers who were killed as Constables Matthew Arnold, 26, and Rachel McCrow, 29. Arnold was sworn in 2020 and McCrow in 2021. Now, Ian Levers, the president of the Queensland Police Union, said the officers walked into a hail of gunshots. He said 2 police officers were executed in cold blood. Yeah, if it was an ambush. He said that as one officer took cover in the long grass, the offenders lit a fire to coax her out. So she took cover in the grass and then they lighted on fire. Levers told the Australian Broadcasting Corp she actually believed that she was either going to be shot or burned alive. Well, we know what happened. And then it goes down from there. There's more. If you want to read it, I'll put a link in the description box. It is pretty lengthy. But, another thing that brought this to my attention wasn't just Ive Peters, but that this was in Australia. That, we always say how, I know there's a lot of foreign countries out there that have issues, and they have bigger issues than us sometimes here in the United States. But to think that Australian police are ambushed in a fashion that's similar to that would happen here in the United States of America is like, it kind of brings it home that, look, man, law enforcement is having problems all over the world, you see. And I know they are, like Iraq and Iran, they have their issues with the police. Italy has been having their issues with the police, and France. But Australia, where they don't even, guns are illegal there. It's funny too, now that I think about that. This is going to sound stupid, but I don't care. Guns are not legal in Australia, but you always read these things about these big game hunters in Australia, or these people that go out and shoot this game, whether it's a kangaroo or a rhino or whatever. I'm thinking they must have some type of special license. So is this a big game hunter or something? I don't know. But it was an ambush similar to what we've had here, and it's just sad that can't be a cop anywhere anymore without living in danger.